Hello everyone. In this today's video, I am going to discuss the introduction of SAP Material Management, and this video will help those who are learning SAP or contemplating to join in SAP MM courses. So the material management is very, critical component of SAP that most of the industries rely on today's. And it is also one of the important modules or component of logistic sides of SAP. So this module is designed to procure and manage the material resources of a companies. And before I go to the functions and objectives of the material management, as we also should throw some lights on the different modules under this SAP ERPs. As we know, SAP have so many modules. In fact, it is more than 85 plus modules are there cutting across the technicals and the functionals. So broadly we'll discuss SAP has one your technical sides and one is as functional side. Under technical vertical, we have a different modules are there. Above basis, BI, BPC, board, EP, GRC. So many other modules are there. But today's we are going to stress upon the one of the model that is material management, which comes under the functional side of SAP. So under functional module or functional verticals, we have so many modules are there, and these modules are cited in your this current slides. You can have to rely on it. So, but today we are going to discuss only the SAP material management modules, its functions and objectives. See, when a business purchase any materials or services from the external suppliers, when a business, it's our companies, right? When a company contacts to the vendor suppliers for purchasing any material or services, that is known as procurement. And in order to procure any material from the suppliers, the material could be your raw materials, finished products, semi-finished goods, okay, spare parts, and some other items maybe. So for which, let's say we need to purchase some spare parts or some raw materials for which we need to maintain the master data for that particular materials. So in the system, SAP system. So for that, we need to create a material master. And then not just purchasing materials, we may purchase some services from the external supplier for which service master is also required. So material master, and since our business purchases materials or services from supplier for which supplier master data is also required, otherwise known as vendor master data. And in order to purchase anything from the suppliers, so what are the materials we are going to purchase or we are purchasing from the external supplier, at what price, what are the terms and conditions, delivery dates, everything will be mentioned in another master that is known as purchasing master. So these are the three master data that must be created in SAP system under the material management modules in order to complete these MM processes or purchasing cycles. And in order to procure any materials or services from the supplier, even if it is purchasing is goes beyond certain duration or it is long-term purchases, then we need to have a contract and agreement with the suppliers, and that contract and agreement will be included or will be attached in our PO in order to purchase anything. So in order to purchase, PO document has to be created from the business side, especially purchasing team will create that and send to the supplier, and against that PO supplier will send the goods. So especially these procurement processes, as we have already mentioned, contract and scheduling agreement have signed and inventory functions of the business will be in action. So against that purchase order, so supplier will give you the goods. When you receive the goods, we call it as a goods receipt, and that is done by your maybe storage location, warehouse people, they will do it. And when we receive any goods, that has to be inventorized, and that is called inventory function of material management. And this inventory functions is nothing but your stock management. So Stock management is something, what are the materials that you have received under in your inventories, and how we handle that goods movement, because when you receive, the goods movement takes place from the vendor warehouse to your warehouse, or maybe you may transfer some goods from one plant to other plant, or maybe one storage location to other storage location within the plant or between the plants. That can happen, that is known as goods movement. So goods movement maintain the quantities and the value of the stock material as well. So for which we have to understand the material valuation, because whatever the stocks or materials we received, every material has a value. Okay, so to do that, we need to do the valuations. It can be done under your business or legal entity levels, or under your plant level, and automatic account determination also takes place. Since we receives the material from the external vendor, once you receive the material, our inventory or stock goes off, and so was the overall value of the stocks. So the value changes will be recorded in a separate general ledger account, which is handled in the finance module. So that is called account determinations, for which we need to do some setting as a consultant. And the account determination is a process by which system automatically find the respective account, or the correct account, so that the posting will be made. So this account determinations again helping in to record the business transactions. After this, supplier may receive or supplier may send an invoices. So the invoices which we have received, so user people will post the invoice in SAP system. And once the invoice is posted in SAP systems, invoice verification takes place in the system. It may be automatically or manually depending upon your settings. And when you do the invoice verifications, that ensures the vendor invoices matches with your purchase order as well as your GR, that is goods receipt document. And this process is known as three-way matching. So three-way matching is a process by which invoice document match with your PO with that of your GR documents. And once the invoice or three-way matching takes place, then our invoice will be treated as a good, and the payment can be done against that invoice to the supplier by our finance team. After the invoice verification, we have something called consumption based plan. So consumption based planning determines when and how much materials need to be procured or produced based on the stock and demand. So it helps in avoiding stock out or stock in situations or overstock situations. So that will be handled separately under the consumption based planning, or we have under the consumption based planning different planning settings are there with different MRP procedures are there, that we'll discuss in the coming videos. Now coming to evaluation and reporting. See, evaluation and reporting provides the analytical reports on your procurement, on your stock, or on vendor evaluations. So that will be handled in evaluation and reportings. After this, since I already mentioned, the material management is very important and critical to the industries, and the transaction happen in material management has also impact on other modules under the SAP ERPs, and that is called integrations. That means the integration has to be done, material management has to be integrated with a different other modules where it directly exerts some impact. That means material management exert an impact on finance, controlling, and controlling means it handle the cost tracking and other cost center consumption related transactions. And production planning, so MM has also direct linkage with the production planning. So production planning mainly responsible for material requirement for productions, and warehouse management, stock placement, picking, packing in the warehouse takes place under this warehouse management, and sales and distribution models, which ensures the material availability and deliveries. So these are some of the models where material management is tightly integrated. So as we know, these are the functions of the material management, and material management is a part of your logistics, which includes the acquisition, storage, transport, and delivery of goods along the supply chain. And it simplifies the procurement process, valuation of materials and account determinations, invoice verification, inventory management, material requirement planning, and also we have enterprise and other master datas. So now coming to the objective of material management. What is the objective and the motive of material management? The objective of material management is to provide a customer with an unbroken chain of manufacturing components to deliver product on time. As you know, one side we have our business, that is our company. Other side we have customers. So customers creates the demands. Demand is being managed under demand management, that is on the SD side, sales and distribution sides, and it provides an unbroken chain of manufacturing component. That means whatever the material the customer needs or whatever the services the customer needs from our business, we need to provide them on time. So these are the things will be handled. That is the most basic objective of the material management, and it also assures the supply chain is intact. So there is a high enough inventory level and less deviation between the plan and your actual results. So the material department is paid to release the goods to supply base, making sure that the goods are shipped to the customers on time using the appropriate carriers. So we have separate demand to do this. So customer creates the demand, and our business motive or business function is to supply, meet those demands. Now under this, as you know, in material management, under the material management, we have several components, sub-components are there. So material management is a component under which several sub-component or sub-modules you can say. Okay. Apart from the enterprise structure master and our master data, apart from this, we have another important sub-component that is called procurement. Under this procurement, uh, we need to understand how the purchasing task, it includes your external procurement of material services, determination of possible resource of supply, and monitoring of supply and payment to the vendors. That handles under this procurement stages. So all the material procurement related activities such as your quotation, request, purchase order, procurement, release order, outline agreement, contract, and timing of agreement also carried out in this particular subcomponents. And next one is inventory. When you create orders and send to the suppliers, against that order you receive the stocks, the inventory management comes into picture. So inventory management activities also we have discussed, that is inventory of receipt, your internal transition of material movement, and then the reservations carried out in these modules. So many activities will be done under the inventories. We have a concept of physical inventories, the process by which we can count the physical stocks in our warehouse and match with that of your system stock. So if there is any differences, that difference can be posted in the SAP system to adjust that. Okay, so that can be done. That is posting of difference, your cycle count, inventory sessions, and the count area is also carried out in a physical inventory in a particular storage area or warehouse. Now next one is your invoice verification, which I've already discussed how the three-way matching takes place, and payment will be released to the suppliers out about after this invoice verifications. Now coming to the valuation and account assignment. So here is the how the material valuation takes place, under what organization level, and how this value will be updated in a finance or general ledgers. That is the account determinations. And service management includes the activities as by creating service master, service entry sheets, service purchase order. That will be also the part of your service management. So these are some of the objective and functions of SAP material management. And if you want to learn a specific component or subcomponent of material management, or want me to put a particular video on that in details, I'll do that. Comment on this comment sections and let me address your problems or the learning processes. Thank you so much.